Good morning, everyone. It's Tess, and today is tip 328, and it's about the relationships in our lives. And again, Lisa Nichols, Abundance Now. This is where I'm pulling this information. She has a whole section in the book that she refers to the enchantment in your life relationships. And it was kind of interesting because she actually even talked about more types of relationships than I actually, even though you all know that they exist, you don't think about them or their impact in your life. And she was talking about like family relationships, friends, colleagues, casual, co-workers, advisors, love relationships. Some of the relationships in our lives are abundant thinkers. Some of them challenge and limit us. Some of them support us, but there's all different types of relationships. And that she for a long time felt that you didn't have to worry about that. She didn't put relationships as something she had to be concerned about in looking for success in her life. And what she realized is that the quality of her life was directly impacted by the people in her life or how she interacted with the people in her life. And I thought that was really interesting. And I'm going to share a quote that is Lisa Nichols' quote that's in the beginning of this section. And it says, "When you sit down at the end of your life and reflect on its value, you will realize that your real treasures were in your relationships and not in your possessions." And that reminded me of a saying that I used to have. My niece and nephew gave it to me when they were young. And it's more or less that 100 years from now, no one will remember the house you lived in, the car you drove, but they will remember that you were important in the life of a child. And I thought that was so important because it does kind of boil down to that. And she was kind of saying that, we have to be careful in the quality of the relationships around us, that because we kind of become those that we surround ourselves with, we have to be careful in where we get heavily invested or what we let bring us down. I can think about, because there are people that we all know in our lives that and again, we always have our hand out to help somebody because we don't want somebody hanging on by one finger that we're not there to help. And that's Kelly Cardanis. I'm going to have to check to make sure I know how to say his last name, but we want to, we want to have our hand out to help other people up. But there are some people that aren't ready or don't want that help up. And you have to be careful not to, hi Joan, good to see you, not to fall into, you want to always make sure the relationships are something that you are able to stay on your level of how you feel, your mood or your energy level. Because I'm going to kind of refer to mood and energy as the same thing. If your mood is happy, your energy is higher. And if your mood is angry or frustrated, your energy is lower. And what we have to be careful of is that in the relationships that we connect with in life, that we don't allow ourselves to be pulled into that negative place. The perfect situation is that we can bring them up, because not much good comes from staying in a low place. I'm going to say nothing good comes from it. We always want to strive to be feeling at least above the worry line, joy, hopeful. Hi, Ying, good to see you. And Miss Joan, hello. We want to be in a place of feeling good as much as possible. We want to be above a worry line or a higher mood, meaning joy, happiness, love. Because I know even in my life, all areas of my life flourish when I come at my life from a place of feeling good, when I'm coming at it in a point where I can make better decisions. Because what I've realized is that when I was always looking for bad to happen, I drew a lot of bad to myself. But now when I'm pulling myself into a place of feeling better, life comes together a lot better. So when you hear, be careful what you think, it's true. Think the thoughts that'll pull you in the direction that will grab a hold of you and help you to find the path to what it is you truly want. I think too many of us put thoughts together and our mind works to create all these things that we think could go wrong, and we need to push forward. But it was true, and I do agree with a lot of this. It's like, be careful, like love toxic people from a distance. And there are some people that aren't ready. Like I said, hand out when somebody's ready for the hand up, but you do have to know when it is a toxic relationship and the person doesn't want the hand up so that you don't get pulled into it with them. It was interesting too, in that she talked about like coaching people in your life. And again, you have to be careful that you are with somebody who's open to hearing what you have to say. You can tell somebody what I love about you is, what I admire about you is, what I need your support for is. And then maybe they are available to help, or maybe they're not available to help. What would work better for me is, what I appreciate is, what I hear you saying is, because sometimes communication is an issue. May I offer a new suggestion? May I give you some feedback? May I share my opinion? They may not want your opinion, but at least you'll know if you actually ask the question. And then don't offer unless they ask. And then you have to decide, is this someone that you want to invite in? Because you want to be responsible, you want to listen carefully, but you want to be careful not to be drawn into a drama that's not yours and that's not going to help either one of you. And it's always about, and Zara Mahmood talks about it in Law of Attraction, you want to make your comfort circle bigger. You want to be in an area where you can draw more people in and maybe help other people. I go live because I want to help myself, but in doing so, I hope I'm helping others. And I think a lot of that has to do with feeling better about myself, or feeling better about sharing, or feeling better about maybe having just something that one day might help another person in their journey. We don't know what someone else is dealing with, and we don't want to get drawn into the dark well with them, but the hand out and up if they're ready. But I think it takes being careful with conversations, knowing when somebody's ready to be open and hear what you have to say. No matter where they're at, we can just address things with kindness, like even in stores and stuff. Be kind, and if somebody is just in a place where they're not going to be kind, you just have to break and walk away. That's just really the best thing. She kind of gives some examples of like some statements that she made. Examples like, I know it must have made you fearful and frustrated that I seem to be constantly unhappy in our marriage. When I actually feel happy and well cared for. Just kind of like changing wording. We all know that. What I learned is that I'm protecting my destructive perfection. I'm projecting my destructive perfectionism on you. Because a lot of times too, that's one thing Tony Robbins talked about in one of the books I was reading lately too, is that in a lot of relationships you have to learn people's boundaries, because what is important in one person's relationship may be different in yours. And he was talking about like a star that needed, if he was going to call somebody a good friend, he needed to talk to them twice a week. And Tony Robbins said, wow, I'm glad that I know that now, because I would consider us good friends. And the actor said, inside I know that's true, but outside I don't feel that way, because my set of rules is that I talk to somebody twice a week if they're important to me. Tony Robbins said, well, if that's important to you, then that's what I need to do. So it's just a case of figuring out somebody that's important in your life. What are the rules that are just something that's solid inside? But in the same sense, when you're extending that, then that gives you a chance to tell them what's important to you. Because we are all different. What we all need is different. But I think at the end of the day, we all want to feel good. We want to feel joyful. We want to feel happy. We want to be helpful to each other. I think we do want to feel good. So I think you don't want to turn it into a business, but you want to do some due diligence and understanding where somebody's coming from, how you can help them, but helping them in a way that doesn't bring you down. So I just thought it was interesting when she was talking about relationships and how as successful as Lisa Nichols has become, and just as a reminder to you guys, she is from like Los Angeles, and she had trouble. She had a child young. She got to a point one day where she was trying to diaper her child and she couldn't diaper her child. So she ended up putting a towel on, and she looked at her son. Well, hi, John, good to see you. She looked at her son and made a promise to him that would be it. That would be the last time. So she started working to make programs that would help people like her not struggle the same path she had. And she became so well known that her name got out there, and she wrote a Chicken Soup for the Soul for Jack Canfield, and her whole life exploded all over the place. She's got books and lots and lots and lots of money and businesses that have gone forward. So she's shared what she's learned in her journey, because she started really in a very hard spot and came forward. But she said in the beginning she didn't think relationships mattered, and at the end she realized they do. So I guess the best thing is try to understand where people are coming from so that you can find out what their non-negotiables are. That's a Tony Robbins thing. And then if that's something that you can contribute, but in the same sense you can share what your non-negotiables are, and then we can all try to help each other. Because when you think about it, we all have so many different types of relationships. We have family, friends, colleagues, casual, co-workers, advisors, love relationships. Some of these relationships, again, are abundant thinking people. Some are challenging and limited people, and some are there for support. So the quality of our life will be impacted by these relationships, and it's going to be important just to identify where we can reach our hand out and help somebody up, where we might have to just break until we can come back at it from a place where we're all higher on the emotional scale, or meaning happy, joy, and love, so that we don't hurt each other in the journey. Because I know the past couple of years have been a lot of hurt for a lot of people. And if we can reach our hand out, maybe we can help each other bring 2022 in an amazing way. And as it comes out into the next years down the road, we can see a lot of hope, love, and anticipation for some amazing things for a lot of people. Have a beautiful day, and thanks for listening.